I'm David Slater. I'm the mayor of Pleasant Valley. We are the town that stirs the drink of this whole community right here, the whole metro. And welcome to the Police Memorial. We have some special guests, and I've got the job of introducing them. I'm going to miss some, so I'll be SOB to some of the folks out there. But if I miss you and you think you should be, give me a shout out and we'll put you right here. From our state, we have Representatives Mark Ellebrock, Matt Sane, Wes Rogers, and Doug Ritchie. So, we should have probably hold their applause because I only get 5 minutes, and I'm sure y'all want to hear a couple of wise comments from me, but no, here we go. We have mayors Eileen Ware of Independence and board chairman of Clay Como, Norma Sulzberger. We have also Mayor Kathy Rose of Riverside, Dan Johnson of Parkville, and Mike Larson of Sugar Creek. I've got Mike McDonough of Raytown on here, but I was going to put you with the police. Mike used to wear the badge, sergeant, right? Very nice, but Mayor Raytown's here too. Mayor Pro Tem Scott Wagner, he's back there. And we have our city manager, Troy Schulte, who'll be following me. And I did not see Councilwoman Laura. Oh, there she is, It's been a long time. Yeah, well, that's when I showed up. It started at 7:30. Okay. Jermaine Reed, is he? Catherine Shields, Jolie Justice, Lee Barnes, Elisa Kennedy, Scott Taylor, Kevin McManus, and then got the mayor-elect here, Mr. Lucas. Let's hear for Mayor Lucas to be. Architect Eric Bosch. Eric's in front row. Mira Mallingham. No, I butchered that last name. I am so sorry, Mira. But she's basically the genesis of this thing. So, very good. Sergeant Brad Lemon of the Kansas City Police Department. Sheriff Paul Vescovo of Clay County Sheriffs. Chief Sean Smith of the Cleveland Police Department. Chief Jan Zimmerman from the Raytown Police Department. Deputy Chief Ken Jerrigan, Independence Police Department. Lieutenant Larry Tarrant, Excelsior Springs Police Department. Chief Larry Gurn, Peculiar Police Department. Chief Matt Kuntz, Clay Como Police Department. And we have from Pleasant Valley, both our Chief Gordon Abraham and Captain Jared McGinley. So, let's see. Platte County EDC Director Alicia Stevens. Pat McContreras from McCown Gordon. Adam Whiteman from Beanham. Kathy Webster, surviving spouse of Trooper Michael Webster. You'll hear from her later. Jeannie Keisling, KC Police Memorial Foundation. Chief Larry Joyner, former Chief Larry Joyner. Where are you at? Back there. I saw you. There he is. President Sheila Tracy of the Northland Chamber. Of course, we have Robbie Mackinnon from the KCATA, who personally decorated this bus. How about the ATA? Chief Chrisman from Parkville. And let's see, we have Michael Clark from Senator Blunt's office, Captain Will Aiken from the Clay County Sheriffs. We have Park Board members Alan Dillingham and Dave Mecklenburg, and guy who just retired from the Park Board for after 40 years. We have Mark McHenry. So Mark's here. Thank you, Mark. I saw former City Councilman Bill Skaggs and Sarah Mills, the Clay County Public Administrators here. Dan White, the Clay County Prosecutor, and Councilwoman-elect Andrea Boo, and also Kevin O'Neill are here. And that's the end of my time. That's 5 minutes, isn't it? I'm going to turn over to City Manager, Troy Schulte.
Well, thank you, Mayor. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a great day in Kansas City. We changed the plans.
I know. Yeah, it is, and it's because I skipped somebody intentionally. The quarterback of this whole thing is over there in the blue dress, Councilwoman Heather Hall. Yeah, let's stand up. She is the reason. Call Mayor McDonough, man. Woo! She's the reason we're here. Well, thank you.
The mayor just took my speech. I want to thank everybody. It was interesting in the last 24 hours. It was mentioned that Mira Mahallingham, who's on my staff, is one of my assistant city managers, and she runs all the internal operations of the city, personnel, contracts, those types of issues. I got a call from Councilwoman Hall saying this was Mira's idea, and interestingly, 24 hours earlier, I'd gotten a call from Mira saying this was Councilwoman Hall's idea. I know that success usually has 1,000 fathers. In this case, it's got 2 mothers. Councilwoman Hall and Mira both deserve a lot of credit, both from a staff point of just making sure that the process was shepherded through. Our city architect is hanging up his shingle after 29 years with the city. I know this was one of his last projects, and we couldn't be prouder of his accomplishments all around us, whether it's the crime lab or the East Patrol, or the North Shoal Creek Patrol and the Regional Law Enforcement Academy. All of those are your creations, Eric, so it's nice to kind of put the pièce de résistance right here on this little mark that you've made for the city. So it's a great day for Kansas City. I want to, on behalf of the city staff, thank Councilwoman Hall for her efforts, her diligence on this. There probably isn't anybody in this room and under this tent that didn't get a call. I can tell you, as I was making calls around the town, I said, well, I've got to have a conversation with Councilwoman Hall about the Law Enforcement Memorial Garden. I think they need money. And I said, yep, they do. So her perseverance, her willingness to take an idea and shepherd it to fruition is a testimony to her passion, her willingness to invest in this city and make it better. So on behalf of a grateful staff, I think Mira's here somewhere, hopefully. We were happy to play a small part in it, but it was really the effort of Councilwoman Hall and all of her colleagues on the city council raising a $2.5 million facility. And it was, as it was mentioned to me, we look around at all of our fountains and monuments throughout the city. The only one that we have for our law enforcement officers is right in front of our police headquarters. We've got a beautiful firefighters fountain. We've got fountains for the Boy Scouts. We've got fountains for women's leadership. We've got fountains for every other civic group in the city, but we never had a fountain or a memorial garden for our law enforcement officers. So this was long overdue, and a credit to Councilwoman Hall for bringing it to fruition. Enjoy the hot summer day. I will be heading back to Scout Camp to sit in it for another 7 days, but I wanted to be here for this. This is a great day in Kansas City. Congratulations to all involved, and we look forward to a beautiful project.
Good morning, and thanks to all of you for being here today for this groundbreaking event to honor those officers who gave their lives in the performance of their duties. This memorial is important. It is important for all of us, not only to recognize, but to understand the responsibilities, the hazards, and sacrifices law enforcement officers bear each and every day, and to also appreciate the sacrifices made by the loved ones who support them. Law enforcement officers must possess a wealth of knowledge and skills. They may be called upon to render emergency medical care, investigate crimes, perform rescues, and engage in proactive community policing. All of this while enduring long shifts in sometimes dangerous and unpredictable circumstances. For generations, Missouri peace officers, be they police officers, state troopers, deputies, conservation officers, or special agents, have shown courage, bravery, perseverance, and a dedicated commitment to the citizens they serve and defend. It is right that we honor these officers who have given their lives in the line of duty. This memorial will always show our deepest gratitude and respect to the officers and their families as we remember their heroic devotion and sacrifice. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, my name is Brad Lemon. I'm the president of the Fraternal Order of Police of Kansas City. I had some prepared notes, and I thought this garden came from the heart of two incredibly beautiful people who decided to put something together that was sorely missing in the metro. So I felt like I should speak from my heart on this issue. In '92, when I came on the police department, I met a sergeant at a Metro Patrol that I was on dog watch and he was on PMs. And I was in Westport one night with a bunch of friends when he was savagely killed by a drunk who decided he was mad at police officers. And it was my first police funeral. My next police funeral was December of that year when we lost 2 more of our own in a helicopter crash. What we do for a living is affects us differently than a lot of other people. It carries on our memories carry on for the rest of our lives. It affects our families. Every day we go to work, our families don't know when we're going to come home, if we're going to come home. But when we lose one of our own, it hurts just as bad. I've attended funerals all over the country for men and women that have given their lives in the line of duty. And I look at what happens in those communities, and it isn't just the men and women that wear these badges. It isn't just the families that have to pick up the pieces and be home at night without their loved one there anymore. It's the communities that are incredibly impacted. Clinton Police Department went through it twice in a year, and after both those funerals, just to watch those communities come out and mourn the loss of one of their heroes. I would just say it's touching to have you here today to celebrate something that means so much to us. Not just a plaque in some police department, not just a list of names on a statue, but a place that we can spend time with family, spend time with friends. This is a place where people can gather from the entire community and actually just say thank you. And from law enforcement family, from those that I represent, the people that have come before me and those that will walk in my shoes long after I leave, I just want to say thank you to the city for what they did and for stepping up. And I have to admit, when Heather first brought this and brought it up, almost, I think probably 2 years ago now, I thought it would be great, but I thought it was a pipe dream. I never really believed we'd be standing here today, but for the will of 2 incredibly strong women, we're standing here today and we're getting ready to build this. I just can't thank the city and those of you that have helped build this thing enough. So thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kathy Webster. I am the widow of Corporal Michael E. Webster, who was killed by a drunk driver in '93. And I'm here to recognize just the devastation that happens after our loved ones are literally snatched from us. Michael was 33 years old when he was killed, and I was 31. And we had a 6-year-old daughter and a 20-month-old son. So my son only had one birthday with his father, just one. He's 27 now. And my daughter is 32. And when I look back on her life, it's like I was so young when I lost my husband. I can't believe how young I was looking at her being 32. Next year, she's going to be 33. Same year. We lost a pup. It's going to be hard for her because 31 was hard for her, and it was my age. I cannot imagine what's going to be like when she's her dad's age. But there are a couple of things I wanted you guys to just think about. This memorial is very important. Every memorial we do for law enforcement is very important all across the United States. And the reason why it's important is because it's remembrance. We need to remember these men and women because they put their lives on the line expecting to come home every night. And for some reason they didn't. Whether it was a car accident, whether it was a drowning, whether it was a lightning strike, whether it was a drunk driver killing someone, whether it was a shooting, it doesn't matter. They never came home. And when they didn't come home, they left wives, children, mothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, you guys. We never think about the camaraderie that these men leave behind when it comes to their friends. We never think about those people. And I'm going to tell you right now, Every time, for years after Michael's death, when I would go to the highway patrol and see a couple of those guys, they teared up because they missed Michael. I knew I missed him, but I never realized how much his comrades and his best friends in St. Louis missed him. In fact, I have to tell you, his best friend from high school needed to see Michael in the casket in order for him to truly believe that Michael was gone. And I wanted a closed casket. Not that he was disfigured, I just didn't want anybody to see him dead. But people needed that final sight of him not being here. And that's heart-wrenching. And it hurts. And it's horrible. But these are the two things I want to remind you guys of. In the blink of an eye, my life changed. So this is what I want you to think of. When Jesus was taken to the cross, when he was carrying his cross, it got so heavy for him that burden was really hard for him to carry. So, but he had that heavy cross, and a Roman guard snatched a citizen out of the crowd that was going to the market with his daughter to carry that cross for Jesus Christ. That was a burden that was not his. That was a burden that was heavy, was never intended for him. But he had to carry that cross. So when our loved ones are taken from us, it's a cross that we are bearing that wasn't meant for us. I never thought that I would be a widow. I don't care what Michael was doing. I never thought that I'd be a single parent. That's not what I designed in my life to be. I expected to live with Michael until he was 113. And I was going to be 111, and we were going to die together. I never expected to be a widow longer than I was ever married. So that burden that I bear, that cross that I'm carrying still today, is my children, seeing their pain and their suffering even to this day. It may be 26 years later, but every day is harder, you guys. It doesn't get any easier, because that's every milestone that we are without him, and we're not having that kind of, we don't have to share with him. It's lonely without him. Second thing I want you guys to remember, that every time you turn off a light from a bright light to a dark room, is exactly what that drunk driver did to me. He took my light away. He took the brightness in my life away. And when you turn off a light the next time, I want you to think of how all of our lives and all of our situations were changed by a flick of a switch and by somebody's decision, because that's what happened to me and my children. So I want to thank you, Councilman Hall. I want to thank all of you guys for allowing me to speak on all of our behalves for the survivors here. And you guys, just be safe and get home to your families as much and as best as you can, because we expect you home at night. All right, thank you.
Hello, I'm Adam Witchman with BNIM Architects. Thank you, Kathy. The Regional Law Enforcement Memorial Garden honors and celebrates the men and women who have laid down their lives in the line of duty. Located adjacent to the Regional Police Academy, the garden is envisioned as a sequence of ever-changing spaces that tell the stories of those who have made the ultimate sacrifice, as well as honor past and current officers and their families who make the daily sacrifices to serve and protect. Individual spaces in the garden create experiences that change throughout the seasons and over time, ranging from quiet contemplation and intimate scales to grand and celebratory scales. These spaces are woven into the natural settings of the site, from the high bluff over here overlooking the academy, to the forests of the Northland, to the living grove, and through the native prairie beyond. The project is designed to be accessible to and open to all. The Regional Law Enforcement Memorial Garden is a collaboration between the Regional Police Academy, the cities, jurisdictions, and counties it serves: Platte, Clay, Jackson, and Cass counties. The Law Enforcement Foundation, City of Kansas City, Missouri Parks and Recreation, and the families of those who have lost loved ones in the line of duty. Visitors begin their journey at the entry courtyard, paved with granite bricks and engraved with memory statements and donor names. The entry courtyard leads to a wall with a large gateway and memorial signage. Entering through the gateway, visitors will pass a memorial flag plaza and begin a slow descent on a path through a wooded landscape. To the left, one sees a glimpse of the prairie and the academy through the trees. To the right is the living grove of trees. The path opens up to a memorial room. The names of the fallen will be engraved on translucent glass panels. This outdoor room is a quiet and solemn space with a central large granite bench for reflection and contemplation. The room is nestled into a hillside high on the bluff that overlooks the surrounding area. As the day progresses, the play of light and shadow moves throughout the space, creating an ever-changing experience. Opposite the fallen officers' memorial wall are filtered views to the meadow beyond. Leaving the memorial room, as the memorial wall folds back onto the ground along the path, visitors gently descend toward an open meadow. The meadow is a bright and expansive place with views to treed slopes to the south. Along the meadow path are benches and places for art. The path encircles the meadow and begins to descend beyond. The meadow will be a place to tell stories, the stories behind the badge. Our fallen left behind wives, husbands, sons, and daughters. Their families will never forget what their own personal heroes have given in the line of duty and in their service to the community. It's an honor to be part of such a meaningful project. And I want to say that these projects don't come along maybe once or twice in a career, and it really, truly is an honor. So right now I'm going to turn it over to Pat Contreras with McCown Gordon, the general contractor, say a few words.
Thank you, Adam. How's everyone doing? I'm Pat Contreras, and on behalf of our McCown Gordon team, thank you. We are so honored to be a part of this important community project. When we first learned about the project at the mayor's breakfast just 2 years ago, I immediately ran up to Councilwoman Heather Hall and I said, how do we get involved? And it was from there that this started. The conversation started. I talked to a couple of officers and I asked them, what do you want to see in this project? And they said, well, it's simple. It's to have a place to sit and celebrate the lives of fallen officers, a place where families, children, and friends can gather to remember them, and a place to educate and inform future generations, where school groups can attend and learn about the lives of fallen officers, to ultimately honor, understand, and give respect for law enforcement, and to build positive relationships between community and law enforcement. There were husbands, wives, sons, and daughters, Little League coaches, community volunteers. They were grandparents, public servants. They liked to fish, read, watch movies, and tell stories. They liked to cook, ride motorcycles, and go camping, watch a ball game. They were the fabric of the community that gives us so much. They are our heroes. And for us at McCown Gordon, this is a passion project, one that we take personal and individual commitment and ownership with. It's because this memorial honors the community in which some of our families have served and currently serve. This memorial honors and remembers the lives that have been killed in the line of duty, to honor the sacrifice, the bravery, and the courage of so many gone too soon. I cannot tell you how excited we are about this and how iconic this project is, and to partner with the city, with BNIM, with the City Council, Councilwoman Hall and your vision, the Fraternal Order of Police. We are honored to get here and get ready and get going and get started. We're going to be here all the way through. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Pat, and thanks everyone for being here today. I'm very honored for this project. This is something that is really very important to me. Someone said to me, this is the most important project you'll ever work on, and I totally agree with that. A couple comments I'd like to make more about how we got to where we are today. And we started building a team, and it was a very small amount of people, probably 6 people that we sat down in a room and started discussing how are we going to accomplish this. Well, our first member to join the team was BNIM Architects, and they have a whole story background on memorials and in personal histories, and that was one of our first members, and it's been a very good move for the city to hire BNIM. And then as we started our next process, we wanted to get our contractor on board, and that process involved interviews. And the whole team knew when Mikal Gordon came to that interview and he started their presentation that this was the next member of our team. And now today, everyone under this tent and in this area is now a member of the team. You understand the importance of design of a memorial garden for Kansas City. So let me go back to February 21st, 2017. That was the meeting notes that I looked up that we actually sat down and started thinking about what does a memorial mean to us. We outlined objectives on what a visitor's experience would be. Each visitor will have the opportunity to travel through this memorial and come away with their own personal experience. Family members, relatives, police officers, and the public, individually and groups. Some words we put together on that day: our vision for a sense of place, remembrance, reflection, solidarity. The purpose, family gatherings, celebration, memorial services. And this is a piece I think really important, educating the public on the police and law enforcement, not only for adults, but for children.